Hello everybody and welcome to my monthly Vietnam update. October saw continued low liquidity mirroring September, with the VN index declining by 4.7% in US dollar terms, primarily driven by a weakening Vietnamese dong against the US dollar. The AFC Vietnam Fund was also affected, with its NAV declining by 3.6%, according to internal estimates. Hi, my name is Andreas Vogelsanger. I'm the CEO of the AFC Vietnam Fund. Please listen to the latest update in the format of a podcast. We used an AI application to create this podcast, and we hope you enjoy this new format of staying informed. We would love to hear your feedback, so please feel free to leave your thoughts and comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.
All right, so there's this hidden gem in the investment world, and I know you've been eager to explore it, Vietnam.
Yeah.
You're interested in learning more about its economy and stock market, especially as an investor, so let's dive in.
Sounds good.
Imagine an economy growing at like 7.4% in just one quarter.
Wow.
That's exactly what Vietnam did in Q3 of 2024.
Impressive.
And global investors are starting to take notice.
Yeah, what's really exciting is the talk about Vietnam potentially being upgraded to emerging market status by FTSE.
Oh, okay.
This could be huge, opening up a whole new wave of investment opportunities.
That definitely piques my interest. Where should we even begin with all of this?
Well, first, let's break down why Vietnam's economy is experiencing such a boom.
Okay.
It's not just the 7.4% growth in Q3, which, by the way, exceeded all forecasts,
Wow.
and pushed their 9-month growth to a solid 6.8%.
Hold on. 6.8% growth over 9 months? Didn't they get hit by Typhoon Yagi recently?
They did, but even with that setback, their economy has proven to be remarkably resilient.
That's incredible. So what's fueling this impressive growth?
It's a combination of factors, actually.
Okay.
And that's a good sign because it means their growth is diversified, not just reliant on one sector.
I see.
For example, industrial production is up 8.3%. Exports have surged by a massive 15.4%.
Wow.
And foreign direct investment is pouring in. We're talking 17.3 billion US dollars so far.
Those are some impressive numbers. Is this just a temporary spike, or is this growth expected to continue?
Well, the government has set some pretty ambitious growth targets between 6.8 and 7% for 2024,
Right.
and an even bolder 7 to 7.5% for 2025.
Wow.
The Prime Minister is clearly committed to attracting foreign investment and, turning Vietnam into a major player in the global export market.
It sounds like Vietnam is firing on all cylinders.
It does.
But, from an investor standpoint, another key factor is political stability. How's Vietnam looking on that front?
That's a great question, and a stable political environment is absolutely crucial for investor confidence. And Vietnam's looking pretty solid. The newly established unified leadership structure with Ta Lam as general secretary and Luong Khong as president really sends a clear signal of stability, and this is exactly the kind of long-term vision that investors want to see.
Now, I've heard about China's recent economic moves and how those might actually benefit Vietnam.
Right.
Can you shed some light on that?
Absolutely. So China just unveiled a massive economic stimulus package,
Okay.
a whopping 1.07 trillion US dollars aimed at revitalizing their property sector, boosting consumer spending, and reviving their capital markets.
Huge.
Now, this is where it gets interesting for Vietnam.
Okay, I'm all ears. How does this massive Chinese stimulus benefit Vietnam? Are they geographically close or something?
They are neighbors.
Okay.
And more importantly, China is Vietnam's biggest trading partner. So any increase in Chinese demand, especially for things like construction materials and consumer goods,
Okay.
is likely to translate into a boom for Vietnamese exporters. Historically, there's a strong correlation between China's economic growth and Vietnamese exports.
I see.
So if China's economy picks up steam, Vietnam is likely to reap the rewards.
So all of this points to Vietnam being a hotspot for investors.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier that actively managed funds are the best way to play this market.
Right.
Why is that? What's wrong with ETFs?
Well, ETFs might seem like the straightforward option,
Right.
but they've been consistently underperforming compared to the Vietnam index.
Really?
And you have to remember, Vietnam is still an emerging market,
Yeah.
which means it has a unique set of dynamics that really require a nuanced approach.
Hmm.
Actively managed funds, on the other hand, have teams of experts who understand those nuances.
Okay.
They're constantly monitoring the market, conducting in-depth research, and making strategic decisions based on, a deep understanding of the Vietnamese economy.
So they're like seasoned navigators guiding you through the complexities of the Vietnamese market.
Exactly. They can identify those hidden gems, companies poised for growth that might fly under the radar of a broad-based ETF.
Can you give us some concrete examples? Companies that are already showing promising results in this dynamic market.
Absolutely. So take Thien Long Group, or TLG, for instance.
Okay.
They're Vietnam's leading stationery company, and their net profit in Q3 surged by a remarkable 53%.
Wow.
Another great example is Hang Zan Motors Service, known as HAX. They're the top Mercedes dealer in Vietnam.
Okay.
Their net profit increased almost tenfold in Q3,
Wow.
really demonstrating the strong rebound in the Vietnamese consumer market.
So it's not just about riding the overall economic growth waves.
No.
It's about pinpointing specific companies that are best positioned to capitalize on it.
You got it. And there are many more examples.
Right.
For instance, TNG Investment and Trading, a major garment exporter, reported record-breaking net profits in Q3, up by a staggering 63%.
Wow.
These examples really demonstrate the value of actively managed funds in identifying and investing in the more promising sectors and companies.
So far, you've painted a very compelling picture of Vietnam's economic potential and the benefits of actively managed funds.
Mhm.
But for someone who's just starting to explore Vietnam, what should I look for in these funds? How can I make sure I'm making the right choice?
Well, that's where due diligence comes in.
Okay.
When you're evaluating these funds, you don't want to just focus on past performance.
Right.
Obviously, a proven track record is important,
Sure.
but it's equally crucial to understand their approach, their expertise, and their network on the ground.
So it's about looking deeper, beyond just the surface level numbers.
Right.
So what specific factors should I be considering?
Well, you want a fund manager who not only understands the Vietnamese market, but also has a strong network of local contacts, someone who can anticipate market shifts, identify emerging trends, and navigate the regulatory landscape.
Okay.
Vietnam's market is still evolving, and
Mhm.
having that local expertise can be a huge advantage.
So it's not just about picking a fund that's done well in the past.
Yeah.
It's about understanding their strategy and their team's capabilities.
Exactly. Another key factor is the fund's investment style. Are they growth focused, value oriented, or do they employ a blend of both?
Right.
Do they invest across various sectors or specialize in specific industries?
So I need to align my own investment goals and risk tolerance with the fund's approach.
Absolutely. It's about finding the right fit.
Okay.
For instance, if you're seeking long term growth and you're comfortable with higher risk, a fund focused on small cap companies or emerging sectors might be a good option.
And if I'm a bit more cautious, a fund that targets established companies with a solid dividend history might be a better choice.
Precisely. Tailoring your investment approach to your individual needs is key.
This is all incredibly helpful, but Vietnam still feels like uncharted territory for many investors.
Yeah.
Are there any resources that can help me in doing my research and choosing the right fund?
Certainly, there are several reputable financial websites and research platforms
Oh,
that offer detailed information on actively managed funds invested in Vietnam.
okay.
You can access data on fund performance, portfolio holdings, management fees, and even analyst ratings.
Yeah. So there are tools available to help me navigate this. Okay, let's recap for a moment.
Sure.
So we've established that Vietnam is an economic powerhouse with a diversified growth strategy, a stable political landscape, and the potential to benefit significantly from China's stimulus package.
Right.
We've also highlighted why actively managed funds are the preferred route for tapping into this potential, given their expertise and targeted approach.
Indeed, we've laid out a solid foundation for understanding the investment landscape in Vietnam.
Now, I'm curious about the specific sectors or industries that show particular promise within the Vietnamese market.
Okay.
Where should investors focus their attention?
Well, several sectors are poised to benefit from Vietnam's growth trajectory.
Okay.
Manufacturing, for example, is booming. Vietnam is rapidly becoming a global manufacturing hub, attracting international companies looking to diversify their supply chains.
So we're talking about companies setting up factories in Vietnam to produce goods for export.
Exactly, and several factors are driving this trend, including Vietnam's competitive labor costs, a skilled workforce, and an increasingly favorable business environment.
So investing in companies within this manufacturing sector could be a way to ride the wave of Vietnam's growing export market.
Precisely. Another sector worth watching closely is technology.
Sure.
Vietnam has a young, tech savvy population, and the government is actively promoting the development of its tech sector.
So, beyond manufacturing, Vietnam is also aspiring to be a player in the global tech scene.
That's right. We're witnessing a surge in startups, innovation hubs, and investments in areas like software development, e commerce, and fintech.
It sounds like Vietnam has a comprehensive vision for building a diversified and modern economy.
Absolutely. And there's another sector that's often overlooked but holds immense potential: renewable energy.
Renewable energy, I wouldn't have immediately associated Vietnam with that sector.
It might come as a surprise, but Vietnam is making significant strides in renewable energy, particularly solar and wind power. The government has set ambitious targets for renewable energy production, attracting a growing wave of investment in this sector.
So, this could be an opportunity to capitalize on the global shift towards sustainable energy sources.
Exactly. It's not just about environmental responsibility, it's also about tapping into a rapidly growing market with substantial long term potential.
You've highlighted some very promising sectors, but are there any risks or challenges that investors should be aware of when considering Vietnam?
Of course, like any investment destination, Vietnam comes with its own set of risks.
Okay.
It's crucial to remember that Vietnam is still a developing country.
Right.
Its infrastructure is still under development, and its legal and regulatory frameworks are evolving.
So there's a certain level of uncertainty that comes with investing in an emerging market like Vietnam.
That's right. It's essential to have a long term investment horizon and be prepared for potential volatility along the way.
Okay, that's understandable. Are there any other risks to consider?
Another factor to watch is the currency exchange rate. The Vietnamese dong has fluctuated in recent years, and this can impact returns for foreign investors.
So I need to factor in potential currency fluctuations when evaluating my investment.
Exactly. And finally, it's important to be aware of the potential for corruption and bureaucracy.
Hmm.
While Vietnam has made progress in improving its business environment, these issues can still pose challenges for investors.
So it comes down to thorough due diligence, understanding the risks, and choosing investments wisely.
Absolutely. Investing in Vietnam is not without its challenges, but the potential rewards can be significant.
We've covered a lot of ground here today. We've explored Vietnam's robust economic growth, its stable political landscape, and the potential for positive spillover from China's economic moves.
Right.
We've discussed the advantages of actively managed funds for navigating this dynamic market and highlighted key sectors that look particularly promising. We've also addressed the risks and challenges that investors should be aware of.
Indeed, we've provided you with a solid foundation for understanding the investment landscape in Vietnam.
But before we wrap up, there's one crucial question that I think is on everyone's mind.
And what's that?
Given Vietnam's impressive performance and potential, where do you see this emerging market heading in the years to come?
That's a great question, and one that many analysts and economists are pondering.
Yeah.
Some believe that Vietnam is on track to become the next Asian tiger economy,
Hmm.
following in the footsteps of countries like South Korea and Taiwan.
Okay.
Others see it as a key player in the global supply chain, attracting more and more foreign investment and becoming a manufacturing powerhouse.
So there's a lot of optimism about Vietnam's future,
Yeah,
but also some uncertainty about the specific path it will take.
exactly. But what's clear is that Vietnam is a market to watch.
Right.
It's a country with a young, dynamic population, a government committed to economic growth, and a growing presence on the global stage.
So it's not just about chasing quick returns.
No.
It's about being part of a potentially transformative story.
Precisely. And that's what makes Vietnam so compelling for investors.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the Vietnamese market. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights.
It's been my pleasure.
And for you, our listener, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and given you a solid foundation for exploring the investment opportunities in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
The best way to understand a market is to delve deeper, do your own research, and stay informed about the latest developments.
And don't forget to keep an eye on those actively managed funds.
Right.
They can be your trusted guides in navigating this exciting and evolving market.
Exactly. Now, before we let you go, we want to leave you with a final thought-provoking question to ponder.
Okay.
Given Vietnam's remarkable growth trajectory, its strategic location, and its young, ambitious population, what role do you think this emerging market will play in shaping the global economic landscape in the years to come?
It's a question worth exploring and one that we encourage you to continue researching on your own.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Vietnam. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep investing wisely.
Yeah, that is a fantastic question to leave our listeners with. It's not just about, potential returns. It's
Right.
about really grasping how Vietnam's rise could impact the entire, global economic landscape.
Absolutely. The investment world is constantly changing,
Yeah.
and emerging markets like Vietnam have the power to really reshape it.
This deep dive has given us such a comprehensive view of Vietnam's economic boom.
It
I mean,
has.
we've covered so much from that impressive GDP growth and the potential benefits from China's stimulus package
Hmm.
to the advantages of actively managed funds and, all those key sectors that are primed for growth.
And we've also highlighted the importance of doing your due diligence,
Right.
understanding the nuances of this specific market and making sure your investment strategy aligns with your goals and risk tolerance.
Absolutely. I mean, Vietnam's story is still being written.
It is.
And it's a story filled with both, opportunities and challenges. Right.
But for those who are willing to do their research,
Hmm.
embrace the complexities and adopt a long-term perspective,
Yeah.
Vietnam could hold the key to unlocking some very impressive investment rewards.
It really could.
We encourage you to continue exploring this market.
Yes.
Delve deeper into those sectors and companies that pique your interest.
Mm-hmm.
Stay informed about the latest developments. This is a market that rewards those who stay curious.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Vietnam, remember that knowledge is your most valuable asset.
It is.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep investing wisely.